Hello, I welcome you all to the ongoing lecture series on Sudha Murty's Wise and Otherwise. The chapters that I'll be taking up in this lecture are chapter number 41 all the way till chapter number 45, and then in one more subsequent lecture, I'll be finishing the entire book. My name is Piyush Chaudhary, Assistant Professor, Department of English at Asst College. I welcome you all once again to these ongoing lectures. So, the topic that I'll be taking up today will be chapter number 41, which is titled Sorry, the Line is Busy. So this is a story about excessive usage of mobile phones, as pastimes when, and also, in the earlier times when the internet was still rising. As we all know, these stories by Sudha Murty are written basically around the 1980s and 1990s. So when internet was still rising in India, so at that point of time, this story was written. So culturally, this story might be slightly different for the younger generations today, right? As most of the college going students who will be watching this lecture, they are the ones who were born in the 21st century, right? So the idea is that for them, mobile phones and the usage of mobile phones was not something new. It was something which came very naturally to them. It was something that they had in their hands ever since they started walking, perhaps, right? So, but this story is about the old times when there were no mobile phones, rather, the telephones were stringed, they were attached by the string, and that was a time when there was no concept of call waiting as well. So, the line is always busy. Sorry, the line is busy. That is the name of the chapter. Right, so in this particular story, which was written somewhere around the 1980s and the 1980s, the story talks about a college friend of Sudha Murty. His name was Rakesh, and his telephone lines were almost always very busy. Right, so whenever Sudha used to call him, his telephone lines were busy. So then she gets to know when she visits Rakesh's home that she meets his wife Tara, and Tara tells that the children keep using the mobile phone day and night, and that they have been excessively using or perhaps misusing the telephone lines. So Tara complains that the material affluence, the material benefits, there are some families who have these benefits, and because of that, the material affluence of this family has spoiled their children, and the children just keep chatting. The children just keep chatting using the various chat platforms by using the internet. They keep using the telephones, or they keep using and misusing the internet by using several sites to chat with their friends, right? So she says that the children often abuse the resources which are given to them, because they cannot control their wants and desires. But why is this story even relevant for us? Why are we reading this story? So we are not using telephones, but also we are misusing and abusing the internet. So this makes me think that same is the case with Instagram nowadays. So people are so badly hooked onto Instagram, they keep consuming the daily stuff that they get. They keep consuming the internet day and night, even though it is making us lose our productivity. And more so, in the current days, with the advent of AI, our critical thinking capacity is also shrinking. It's depleting day by day. We are not even realizing it. So that is why this particular GE is mentioned. It is prescribed in our courses to so that reading literature can perhaps help us in exercising our faculty of thought, our faculty, of critical thinking, right? We can exercise our creative thinking faculties. So at the same time, one must also remember that one has to be very mindful of using the internet whenever we are using the internet or we are using Instagram. So we must realize that we are not wasting our time by overusing, by misusing, or rather by abusing it. Okay, so the idea is to use internet and other resources in moderation so that it may not harm us, but that there is a very thin line between entertainment and abusing the entertainment. So we as students of literature, we have to understand this particular aspect while we engage with the internet on a day-to-day basis. For those who are reading these who are watching these lectures, they must understand this. So the message that Sudha Murty is trying to give us is that because this is the purpose of literature as well, to make us realize the pitfalls of human foibles, to make us realize the mistakes so that we may not be able to commit them. Okay, so this is story number 41. Next up is story number 42, which is titled Be Fair to Others. So this is a story about how Sudha Murty observes people in her free time. So she describes a story about a woman who is always upset with her daughter-in-law, but then she has different rules for her own daughter. So Sudha Murty says that one must be fair to others, and so the idea is Sudha Murty observes a lot of people. She observes situations. She has observed life itself, and that is what These are the observations of a senior member of the Indian society, and that is Sudha Murty herself. So just a normal story about how one should always be fair to others. Next up, anecdote number 43, which is titled Bonded by Bislary. So this story is inspired from a real life anecdote, of the 2001 Gujarat earthquake, the Bhuj earthquake, which, completely destroyed thousands and thousands of people in Gujarat. So some poor people came to Gujarat. They came here and they received the help which was originally given to the affected Gujaratis. So there she meets, Sudha Murty goes for her philanthropic activities, and there she meets a poor family for whom the 2001 terrible Gujarat earthquake rather came as a boon. It rather came as an advantage, because they were even able to get Bislary water, because some foreign country has sent a ship full of Bislary water. So that is what Bonded by Bislary, the name of chapter number, that is chapter number 43, Bonded by Bislary. So it's basically, this is a story about how tragedy for one can become a kind of a boon for someone else, right? So it is just showing us the different shades of life. Next up we have story number 44, which is titled Bahut Kuch Hota Hai. This can be roughly translated as, in English, as a lot can happen. So the story talks about an old friend of Sudha Murty who comes to meet Sudha Murty after 35 years, asking for a job for his for his son. So here is a man who's almost about to retire in his mid 60s, and he's still asking job for his son, who was unemployed and who was very casual as well, right? So Sudha Murty realizes that the young boy has dreams of making it big, but he does not want to work hard, and he has not been able to work even anything till now. He's in his early 20s, in fact in his mid 20s, right? So Sudha Murty was upset to see this highly conceited, this highly vain young man who had all wrong ideas in his mind, and that he wanted to earn the success and benefits that come with success, but he did not want to give the hard work that is also accompanied with success, right? So she compares the attitude of this young man, who is the son of her college friend. Several years later, she compares this young man to a boy she met in Odisha, whose father was a rickshaw driver, and his mother caught fish and crabs, and they sold fish and crabs in Odisha to earn money. So this name of this young boy was Javed. So the young boy Javed worked very hard, unlike the boy which Sudha Murty mentions in the beginning of the story, the one who comes for the job with his father, right? So, and this boy Javed, he is willing to work hard, and he's happy with whatever he's doing, and he's willing to improve each day with passing of each day. So we see two different kinds of boys here. The one who works hard and who is willing to learn, who's willing to go the extra mile, and then the other hand, the one boy which came first, who just wanted a good job, who wanted a good salary, but he never wanted to work for that salary. So there are different kinds of people. So Sudha Murty is showing us the unreal expectation of people who don't work hard, but they want everything big in their life, and their unreal expectations and their greed for getting the best, right? So this is story number 44. Let's come to the last topic, that is chapter number 45. Which is about sacrifice. It's about the nature of teachers, and their role in building nature. So, their role in building nations. So the title of the story is, O Teacher, I Salute Thee. So this is a story about a bad teacher who got greedy and who did not serve his own students. The story begins with Sudha Murty talking about, the Gurukul system, where children, where the students were very close with their teachers. She also talks about how, in ancient India, in the olden times, even the kings, even the princes, the richest people, the most powerful people, they used to sit at the feet of their children. They used to sit at the feet of their teacher, their guru. So she says that the traditional Gurukul system was now lost because of the modern education system, but modernity and change is the only constant. So modern education system is also inevitable. It could not have been ignored. It had to come, and hence it should not be looked down negatively. But then, after giving this brief introduction, Sudha Murty comes to the story, when she went to inaugurate a school complex in Odisha, where she sees that there are no classes and children are crammed in small rooms, and there was one open vacant space where saris were being dried. So after her initial observation, she realizes that something is wrong, and then she talks to the principal, and she realizes that the principal is lying, and the sarees that were there kept for drying were in fact the sarees of the principal herself. So Sudha Murty rebukes the principal, saying that how can a principal of a school and how can a teacher do such a shameful thing and use the infrastructure for her own benefit, and the children are sitting on the floors and they are crammed in small rooms. So it's like exploitation of the children, exploitation of the resources of the school. So basically this is a story about the importance of teachers in the progress of nation, and in the progress of any nation. So this is story number chapter number 45. With this I'll come to the end of this lecture. 6 more chapters are yet to come, 6 more short anecdotes are yet to come. I'll be taking that up in the subsequent parts, in the subsequent lectures, and then I'll also be taking a detailed thematic analysis of the various themes, the various tropes, the various symbols that Sudha Murty picks up in this book, Wise and Otherwise. So that is it. I bring this chapter to an end. Thank you so much for watching this lecture. I'll see you very soon. Till then, keep sharing this video and keep commenting your doubts, and definitely I'll be really happy to take them up in the subsequent lectures. Thank you. Goodbye for now.